Welcome, everybody, to Imola. We are here in Italy, and I think everything is working somehow, which is, for once, astonishing. But here we are in Imola for our final round of the championship. Here we are with the silver drivers that, as always, are starting our qualifying session. I hope everything works, because I'm not with Wi-Fi network, so technically everything is working, because I'm not seeing anything lagging, I'm not seeing literally anything happening in such a way. But either way, we are here at the moment for our final round in Imola. The drivers currently are 31 in the grid, and as honestly, not surprised by this, it's wet. Here in Emilia Romagna, it has been raining for literally days, non-stopping, and it's getting to a point where it's a bit in a sort of emergency state. I won't even joke about that, because honestly there is way too much rain at the moment. Just today it's kind of stopped raining, but that's actually an euphemism, it's just a bit on stall. But anyway, here are the silver drivers. If sometimes there are some lag spikes, apologies, I just can't really do anything about it. My internet is, well, it's not there altogether, and my 5G is keeping pace without any problem. And the lag is, as always, if that's the usual lag spike that I see sometimes. I think that my SSD is actually just too filled. It's literally on 90% capacity, so that may actually be the reason, and not the Wi-Fi, since I'm not lagging. But anyway, for now the silver drivers are all on track. Naturally, not a single time has been set, as the qualifying just started. And I think the first car that will be able to make a lap time will be Nick Parks in the number 35 BMW for Walkenhorst Motorsport. Here we can have a little inside camera for our driver here. Okay. Obviously, for a couple of reasons, the stream is in 720p, simply because I just don't want to put too much on my internet band. But altogether, everything should work without too much trouble. And the first lap time that comes to the line is 1:49.127, made by the BMW number 35 of the British driver, that gets beaten instantly by 8 tenths of a second by Smith in first place. Vergoe goes in third. After the first couple of rounds, he has been put in silver class, without any real surprise, to be fair. Ramazzotti went in first place for now, pole position for Vesta Sport, 92 here, and Sbella goes in the number 68 in fourth, with Jabudal going in third, just behind. There is Kasitrash that is now in eighth, with Longden behind. Next car that goes over the line is number 137, but that lap time is not going to be a valid one, and same goes to the robot, just crossed the line a couple of seconds ago. Yellow flag here for Brown. He is letting someone else pass by, so he just exited the pits, I think. Plenty of improvement on the current situation. For obvious reason, the track, although it's wet, it will... Oh, Ramazzotti is into the pits. I can't... I want to see why. Was it a mistake? Because it may be... I just... Okay, just stopped the car. I suspected the wrong pressure of tires, but the problem is that there is just a handful of minutes remaining. I'm not really sure what's the plan there. Smith will not make an improvement, but his second place is short living, since May goes in second. But Jabulal may make the pole. So Ramazzotti for some reason went into the pits. And I'm not seeing him go... Okay, no, he is going out. So I suspect there was a mistake of some kind. Novak went in fifth, by the way, with Lenches and Kotke behind. They just set the times. And Jabulal that utilizes, I think, Svella's car. This Svella's car in 8th place to get a bit of a slipstream, and thanks to that also he gets second place, first row in silver class, with Kasitash that goes in 4th. Smith behind that is putting a very nice improvement. Obviously, as I was saying, as the time passes, the track becomes slightly clearer and there is some more grip. So until the very last minutes, there isn't a proper standing grid. It's more a provisional. Julian Smith here is constantly improving. You can see already that there is a sort of dryish line on the track. And as the time passes, I think the first couple of lag spikes were because of someone else joining. because now they are not happening anymore. But I don't want to talk because they will happen, that's for sure. But if they happen just once every 10 minutes, it's okay. It's not really so different from the usual, to be fair. Obviously, all of this is because I just changed the home, so most of things are provisionally. Like this one is a provisional thing. But with here, coming to the very final corners. And he is basically improving by a whole second and a tiny bit more. So this is an effective pole position lap time. As a matter of fact, he goes into the 47.2 and submits a very quick lap into a 47.2. Obviously, I don't really have any reference since it's wet, so I can't really have any reference. I suspect there will be a 46, but that's about it. I can't really say anything compared to the usual. Smith remains where he is. Ramazzotti is now starting his, I think, let me check, because a minute and 10 remains from 13, 12, 11, 10, so 27, 137. No, he just misjudged. Because maybe I know what was the plan, but he just misjudged by 10 seconds. So this is effectively his last lap. Many others just finished the qualifying session. May is now in 7th, Jabudal in 4th, Tremlin went in 2nd. Out of literally nowhere, Tremlin is now in 2nd place in the Ferrari 272 for Corsa. And Gibbons went in 6th. Brown was not able to make a single valid lap in the qualifying session. That's a bit of a trouble. And here, oh, there was a car. It was the 789, so Kasitas ended his qualifying too. The first car to go across the line to make a further improvement is Julian Smith. Apparently, his car in his Aston Martin, the only Aston Martin in the silver field, is putting an astonishing job. First place. And, moreover, another improvement, 46.2 has been made here, this very moment, and he is basically lapping the entire field by an entire second. Only 3 drivers have survived this fate. Ramazzotti, as a matter of fact, didn't make another lap time, he is in 3rd, and Tremlin is going to finish his lap in 2nd place without really an improvement. Maybe it's totally too soon because he just improved by 0.2 of a second, but he's still off the chart. He will not make an improvement. He will remain in 2nd place and with the same lap time too. Longren is now in 6th place in front of Gibbons, and Novak went in 9th just as the qualifying was over. Towards the very end, there is still Besana that is in the 333. Still trying to make an improvement. An entire second is the Swiss driver for the Italian team. That entire second would put him just in front of Jones. Chris Schneider went in 6th. He was, I don't really know where, because I simply saw his name popping in my screen. I suppose he was in the very late part of the standings, so the very remaining car is, well, remaining cars, because there is also Woodward behind, making a bit of an improvement. And Bezan at the moment goes in 19th, in fact in front of Jones, but it's the sole improvement he will make. In Woodward, as a matter of fact, did an improvement, and he did a way better one with 3 positions being gained from 13th to 10th place. So it's actually 4, I can't count. So Pro Class, Sparks will finish the lap without an improvement, with Smith being the effective pole position holder for 6.8, and the first Pro is going to be the, I have no clue, 2 to 1. Unless Garby just exited the pits, so he did just exit the pits. And the first car that is going to put a lap time is going to be Wegman in the Mercedes AMG. He goes extremely wide, and I think his lap is already ruined completely. So we'll pass to the next one online. It's Kedis Porsche. Apparently, it's the only car that is missing the livery. think it was nice to just go for a single lap time without my commentary over it, but Keenan is now your pole position driver, 46.5, and the only pro into the 46, but with only 3 drivers in pro classes that just submitted a time is not really a choice that I have to make. Ooh, that's a bit of a gravel trap. Journey there for Keenan. Nopek went in 3rd in his BMW. I'm not understanding why some levers are effectively on and some are off, although this one is the default livery, so I think it doesn't have a livery on altogether. That's Bentley went literally straight. It was Corsa's 1 in 26th place. Just to be safe, I am sure I just updated the livery before the qualifying started. And it also updated the folder too. I just can't understand why some liveries are not showing. I suppose this is something regarding something outside my control, because I literally can't do much than that. Sanchez is the car in front of the Beamer here. It is at 23rd place at the moment for the Eagles Esports car, number 73. Oh, and a lot of impeding. Well, not on purpose, obviously. Unfortunately, Sanchez has some more trouble keeping the car on track compared to the BMW in 3rd place, but they are on a valid lap, so there isn't much that they can do, and the 48 has to slow down massively. Also, not too much, because there is a McLaren coming behind. It is Keith's one, still in 31st place without a single lap time being made. So this is the one that will be made for Keith. Currently in 31st place. The 220 machinery goes in 19th place behind the KD in 18th. Then Eck is just in 9th. Ulrich is in 8th, since Vellman just put his car in 6th. In his Audi V10, this car here will be heavily impacted by the rain, for obvious reasons. The first one is that the Audi is, well, I won't say awful. I think that's actually a nice word. It's just not enough. It's the worst thing in the world. Like, having a brick over your head is, I think it's funnier than driving the Audi in the wet. Don't get me wrong, I loved driving that car, but in the wet it was like, no, please, everything. I go somewhere on foot if needed, but no, that one. But anyway, Nopek here. In the, I think, 0.3, since he's improving by 4/10 of a second, not anymore. He was improving by nearly half a second, but in the Acqua Minerali he lost some chunk of time, and now into the chicane, blatantly cutting it, and it's completely legal, by the way. Wegman goes in 2nd, in the Mercedes 67, so now Smith is in 3rd. KD went in 8th. But Eck went in 5th. But we are keeping this car here. Ooh, Garbi and Ulrich, both yellow flags. I don't know if it is because of... No, I think the two are different reasons. As an interesting matter, it was indeed an improvement. Just not as much as I thought, but still, Nopek is now in the very lead of the qualifying session. Jumping from 3rd to 1st. No, wait, from 4th to 1st, apologies. And putting Smith in 4th place. Not worthy, because he's a silver driver, but altogether he remains in the very lead of the class. Some sliding action for Nopek, and Keenan here in the green Lamborghini is trying the best possible to achieve an improvement. 0.083 is the gap between the car 78 and the 48. So you just need a 10th, but he's currently improving by 4, now 3, after Acqua Minerali. So into the chicane, alla variante alta. He just cuts a little less, the first one, and I think that was a mistake, since his lap time is dropping like a rock in a river. oppositely to Nopek, which is actually improving massively the time. I suspect he's in Acqua Minerali, so yeah, he definitely was. And at the moment, Kinnan's lap time will be enough for pole position. He is going to make a 2-time improvement on himself, but that may be completely useless, since that 46.2 is being beaten massively by Nopek here, that may jump into the point 1. He will do 6.172 for the Polish driver. That gets him in the number 48 in the very lead of the qualifying standings. But it's not over yet, because here Wegman in the Dutch 67 with a German car was making a very good improvement, but I think he just lost an exit. He was 3 times in only the first sector, but he is at the moment nearly 7 times off the pace, and the qualifying is also over. Some drivers were already in the pits before that timer went to 0. But Wegman's improvement will not really put his car somewhere. Oh, Eck was improving, but unfortunately he will have to sit behind the scheme and start from 5th place. Wegman's improvement is a chunky one, but completely useless to his position at the moment. Velman is also improving. Oh wait, I may have said it a bit too. No, okay, no, I didn't say it too early. He will improve massively, but that's not going to be enough for the Mercedes number 67. He will remain in 3rd place, although an improvement will happen with Corsa that gets into 8th place, and Velman that remains one of the few cars still making something, with Canavera that is improving a half a second. Oh, on the curb, a bit too much. That's a bit of a loss. That's a lot. Oh, okay, I can't speak anymore. That's a huge loss for the Audi, and no improvement will happen. An entire half a second has been lost there. So Canavera will make a chunky improvement, 13th place for the 193 Porsche. He'll be starting in 13th place with a 47.3. So, in both classes we have never get it in time. Okay, thanks Jeff for just ruining completely my commentary. As always, I have to do something. Can it work? Okay, it does work. Let me just... that was... Okay, 1. Then I have to do this, then I have to do this. It's not really something different as they usually adjusted. Between free practice and qualifying, it always defaults back. So I'm not really sure they use that. But here we are with our standing 1 minute to the very start of the formation lap. Give me OBS. Okay, thanks. So in the right you have the odd numbers, and on the left the even, with Nopek in 1st place and Keenan in 2nd, with Wegman and Smith pole position in the silver class. The Aston Martin will start with a heavy advantage over Tremlin in just 11th place. Then Eck and Garby in 5th and 6th, with Ulrich Corso in the Bentley, Cady and Velman, then Tremlin in the other silver Ferrari, then 73 Sanchez with Canavera behind. Then it's going to be back with the silver, Ramazzotti, then Gibbons, then Jabudal, then Chris Schneider, then Kotke, with Longden behind, May and then Woodward in the 999 with Novak, Kiss only 23rd, Lenges, Sberla, Parks and Casiterash in 27th, with Drobat in the number 7 Mercedes, with Vergue in the 971 Ferrari, Besana, Jones and then Brown, without a single lap time being made on the qualifying session, will end the 32 driver grid. 10 seconds to the very start of the formation lap, and we will go with the usual drone cam. A bit unexpected to see Kiss so much below the grid. We'll start just in 23rd. Not great the situation. But here we are with our lap. This is actually turn 1 with a variante bassa, because it's used in Superbike, and it was used in the past as an effective chicane. Then we have variante tamburello, turn 2, 3, 4, famous for, well, a certain thing. And these corners are consequential, so if you miss one, or if you put something wrong there, it's going to be a huge loss for your race car. Then we have variante Villeneuve in honor of Gilles, not Jacques, luckily, because with the recent hypercar performances I really wouldn't, like, no, please. Speaking of hypercar, here in Imola, in the 24th of April, there will be the WEC, and I will be sitting just here in a completely legal way. Yes, there will be the WEC, so if you didn't buy the tickets, just do it, please, do it. It's the golden era of hypercar, you just have to be there, otherwise you miss it completely. Because Imola is just a sort of placeholder for Monza that has some renovation works. Then we have here Pridatella, turn 9. You can go on the outside, usually on the dry. On the wet, you probably end up there, in that room, in that house, because yes, this racetrack has housing as a residential zone both inside and outside the track, and I'm completely envious about those people that live there. Then we have here the Acque Minerali 1 e 2. You can utilize the curb on the outside as always, but, you know, wet, so not really the choice that you want to make. Then we have turn 14 and 15, which is Variante Alta. Right and left, which in higher class categories becomes just a straight line. And then we have the downhill section to go into 16, 17, 18. All the way down here alla Rivazza. The good thing about Imola is that it is effectively a park, so you can just buy the ticket and you can go. That one is actually a nice place to go. Not a great one, but you can see the paddock and the car exiting, which is actually nice. And I can say that's also one of the reasons you have to go look at sports car racing. You can touch cars. Source I did with an Alpine with some scotch on it. It was phenomenal. By the way, sports car apart, even if these ones are sports car, so not really too far away. But here we are for the final 60 minutes of the championship, and as soon as the green flag waves, we will have our winner in the championship. You just have to wait. And Keenan's championship is done. He is the winner of the season. But here we are for the very start of the season finale, round number 7, with Eck that goes on the outside of the Mercedes. Smith already lost several places. He is at the moment in 6th place already, losing a couple of positions, but possibly that's for the best because he doesn't really want to hurt himself too much. He just wants to be in front of Tremlin just in 10th place. He just gained a place on Sanjay's car that is nearly losing another place there. That doesn't happen. Oh, that's a different situation in the very front with Eck that tries to go on the outside. It's very unlikely that it will happen. You can see the top two already rushing away from the other part of the Pro Class, with Bergman leading the train. Oh, that's a huge lunge for Garby that was nearly impacting with the Lamborghini's rear. Here we are with Eck in the number 51 that goes in the Acque Minerali 1 e 2. With Smith that goes a bit too much wide there. I think he will lose the place on the Corsa, but again he's not really fighting for position number 6. He is fighting for position number 1 in Silver Class, and for now he will remain in that very place. But I think he wants to combat. In fact, he combats it. He combats it and tries to stay in front of Corsa, but Corsa has a better exit outside of the chicane. I think the 990 will try to defend from the outside. Can't really see anything from there. I think there will be a position being done by Corsa. In fact, Corsa gets in 6th place. Smith goes in 7th overall, but remains in the very lead of the silver class. You can maybe see Tremlin somewhere in the spray. There it is, in the red Ferrari behind. Nopek and Keenan already put a second and a half from the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and so on cars. With a view of Ulrich putting a bit of a target on this Aston Martin. That is, oh, that's a huge lunge by Keddy that goes completely off the track. And Ramazzotti is also off. Ooh, huge contact. Multiple cars being hit, and there is mess. There is mess. Huge amount of cars being involved. I think 6 cars have been involved in this incident with Ramazzotti. That was in the very top tier of the silver class being also involved. But here we are with Ulrich that overtakes Smith for 7th place. And this is an issue because now Tremlin is becoming an issue for Smith. The car that was once 7 places behind is now just 1 place behind, and Tremlin in the 272 may lose the position number 8. But no wait, Smith in the 990 may lose position number 8, with Tremlin gaining it. I just switched the cars for a moment. We will get the replay as soon as the things... Oh, Ulrich is off in the 41! And that's also the overtake for the lead of the silver class. You can see the 272 is now in the very lead of the silver class. So Smith lost the entire advantage he had in just a couple of laps. You can see another chunk of drivers trying to go past the two drivers battling for the very lead of the silver. It is the Porsche number 737 that tries to go on the inside. Chris Snyder is retiring from the race for certain reasons. The Porsche gets position number, I think it is 8, since it's a bit glitched, and tries to get even in front of Tremlin, but that doesn't happen. The Porsche remains behind, and the Ferrari is still in front, but Smith's performance at the moment is a bit below expectation. He was in an optimal place in qualifying and at the very start of the race, but now he really isn't in the very place he ought to be. Smith is running on the inside of the Porsche and tries to get back a place in overall standing. He does so for a brief moment. He goes on the grass. He loses 1. He loses 2 places. He may lose another place, maybe. No, he doesn't. Yes, he does. No, he doesn't. At the very end, because it's Zurich behind. It goes in front of Jabudal. And he does indeed takes place number 12 behind the Canavera. That you can see the side-by-side happening. So Ulrich is still on the inside and effectively completes the overtake over the McLaren in the green fashion. But the 531 has another obstacle. The only difference is that the obstacle is called Kotke. 802 McLaren behind that was trying to get the move done, but nothing really happened at the very end of the tail. So a bit of situation changing. With Tremlin that is now in 7th place, and Smith only 10th, so he lost an effective 7 places in, well, not really a good, a long amount of time, in 5 minutes, so some laps. And the advisor racing team, Manuel Novak, 22 BMW, is on the outside, trying to overtake the 802 McLaren. Oh, completely wide, goes on the wetter part of the surface. And it's not only Kotke that gains from it, it's also Woodward that may make a position out of it, because number 15 is the place he is aiming for, and Woodward is just there in the outside at the moment. But it becomes the inside just a straight after. Oh, that's BMW. It's going absolutely wide. He goes on the gravel, he loses the place on the Ferrari. But he doesn't lose at the moment. No, okay, he will lose also the position from Cassitrash behind, so 2 places net being lost by the BMW driver. So we'll go back with Ramazzotti's incident. Ramazzotti is in 24th place only in the number 92. But a huge incident happened behind. You can see from here in the helicam, we can have a view of what really happened. A couple of cars missing the brake. Oh, that that is Chris Schneider, I think, and then behind, mayhem happened with Kotke being involved too. I think it was the 3-8, just narrowly missing that McLaren, and then it was a Porsche with pink fashion. I think it was Longden. It was indeed Longden, also losing completely the car. So that's why Schneider retired the car. I think there was too much damage to that car. And Parks. Oh, there is contact. Sbel and Vergoe. Contact between the two cars. And the 971 goes across the track, nearly creating another incident. You can see it back from the 971 perspective. He goes on inside, launches the car, tries to go on the curb, but it's literally impossible to make, and then goes across the track once more, nearly creating another incident. Gibbons is into the pits. But that's a retirement. Oh, it was Gibbons, I think, the car that hit Ramazzotti. I may have made a mistake there with Novak that gains back 16th place on Cassita Rush. At least one of the two places have been regained. Velman, I'm just noticing, in the number 29, he is nowhere to be seen. And I don't understand the reason. He was effectively starting from the pit lane, now that I think about it. I just noticed... Well, now. I'm not really sure why I'm saying it now, but it was indeed starting from the pits. From Velman, so... Maybe some other issues he's bringing from the last round. But as I was saying, at the very start of the race, the only fact that the green flag has been taken means that both Keenan and Kotke have won their respective championship, as Jabudal remains in front of Kotke for position number 13, whilst Drobat goes on the outside and takes the place on Cassita Rush Ferrari. That's for 17th place. Just some meters in front, it's Novak that is still fighting with a Ferrari. This time is Woodward on the inside. And 22 will not make a move. Well, now there may be something here. The Ferrari doesn't really have a great top speed. Compared to the BMW, you can see the missile that this car is compared to the 296. It's not the same in real life, because the Ferrari is actually very good in a straight. Wait, I'm making confusion. Because that car is the hypercar Ferrari, not the GT3 Ferrari. That's on me. So this Ferrari here is not the greatest on top speed. It is very good in braking, not so much in acceleration, but it's very good in cornering. So it has some upsides and downsides, but the BMW for now is putting a very nice show on the outside of Tosa, number 7, and then completes the overtake on Piratella, turn number 9. That's 15th place for Novak, 4.3 seconds away from Kotke, which is now the... It was already originally the target, and it became Woodward, and then it became Cassita Rush, and then the other way around. But now Kotke is back being the target for the car number 22 in 15th place. Here in the lead it's still the same, with Nopek and Keenan following one another in position number 1 and position number 2. 5 seconds behind, it's... Oh, Rick is off! Number 41 is off again. This car is not having a great time. Already losing the car in Acque Minerali, and again losing the car once more. That's not really useful. 41 is now getting targeted from behind by the BMW number 22. And the overtake gets done on the outside, but I think Novak is somewhere, just not in the correct direction. And there was an attempt of overtake between Woodward and Robert. With a Ferrari that has to defend against a Mercedes. Ooh, that's definitely a better line for Robert in the number 7. An idea was there, but nothing really happens. For a moment, since I think I have to change idea, because the number 7 is on the inside, and this means that Woodward will not be able to defend inside on turn 9, and the overtake is made in the 7's interests. Robert's next objective, Manuel Novak for Advisory Racing Team. Now a bit in the front, maybe I can take the number 41's incident from earlier on. No, I really cannot. That's unfortunate. That spin didn't put any... Wait, maybe it did. 272, 990. Maybe I can. No, I cannot. There was no contact. Unfortunate. Because it would have been good to be streamed. So Wegman losing effectively half a second per lap from the top 2. The cars behind aren't really putting any offensive. Ek is still behind. Gabi is on the same page, 46.9, 46.9. Wegman just made a 47.2. But that really doesn't change anything at the moment. The gap is still on the 6 to 8 temps behind, so I just think this was Wegman's off lap compared to Ek and Garvey. For the moment it remains like this. Attack is now damp, which means that a bit more tire consumption may happen. Ooh, Smith made a heavy mistake because now Canavera is in front. I think he missed the braking point, or he missed. No, he didn't. He didn't miss the braking point. He just braked on the curb, and the position has been lost instantly. So again, what it once was an optimal starting position without any real obstacle in front, well, it rapidly spiraled to a bit of a nightmare, because now Smith is not only in 11th place, way outside of Tremlin's well, closeness, but now Jawudal is becoming an effective opponent in that regard. Here, instead, it is Lamborghini of Ek number 51 that is changing the idea on remaining behind Bergman. Fanola 67 remains in the very front. A 67 will probably lose the position. No, Ek remains behind, tries to cut the curb, but the wet surface doesn't really help. There is now the slipstream available. Ooh, I think that is the number 333. Showing some trouble. Oh, that's a huge loss of time for Wegman. He goes straight into Tamburello, but this time around it was Eck that actually lost way more time. Trying to keep the car on track rather than simply going straight. And possibly the best occasion he had is now in the past. Wegman's defense this time was off. Unfortunately, Eck was not close enough altogether to make something out of that. Situation element still puts the three drivers fighting for the very podium position in front. It really isn't changing much except for the gap between first and second. Now it is 2 seconds with Nopek still in the lead and also having the fastest lap of the race so far for 6.382. Narrowly missed this time around with a 46.390. These ones are lapping into the 47.5, so losing practically an entire second per lap. Not that there is much to worry about from behind, since Corsa is the only effective, I won't say enemy, more like chaser, since Tremini is another 8 seconds behind. Looks like at this point it's just trying to battle for at least a podium. Breaking a bit later for the Lamborghini driver compared to the Mercedes. 67 up ahead. The pace this time around has been picked up a bit more. Eck and Wegman both made a 46.7 on par with the leader. Garby lost 2 seconds, and I have no clue why, since I was watching in front. Ulrich goes in the pits, possibly to try an undercut of some kind. Tires are also not really in a great way, same goes for Keys. Maybe also repairing the damage. Still in front here, doesn't really change much. With the two drivers that are really just, for now, following one another. But you can see that the gap between the two is very, very close. Eck is obviously faster than the car behind. Oh, that's a bit of a side. That's a bit of a slide for Eck, as Katie gained a place on Tremlin here for 7th place. Corsa is also trying to track down Garby. That mistake, which unfortunately I have no idea when happened, nor where, nor how. It's getting targeted by behind. Oh, there is some beef happening here with Smith, and oh, that's a bit of a gravel trap situation for the Aston Martin driver that gets pushed on the outside from Canabera. He obviously doesn't want the British driver to pass in front. But together that really wasn't the same fight, since the two are in different classes. Kasitrash went for DNF. Not sure about the reason there, since I can't see anything. These ones were the last contacted drivers. So something happened to Kasitrash because he's not in the race anymore. So now Corso is effectively closer to Garby than Eck to Wegman. Oh, that's Eck going extremely wide. I may have found Garby's mistake. Same exact, possibly. And in fact, you can see that now Eck is a second and a half from Wegman because of that. And Garby is half a second behind. So now the Lamborghini driver passed from being the chaser to being chased, all in a matter of a single turn. It was maybe I have to see it again. Let me check. No, okay. I think that's a stop and go. Yep. This may be a stop and go penalty. This may be a stop and go penalty. He braked way later than the usual. Just as a reference, you have to brake. It's not like you can. You have to brake before the red and white markers on the right. And it was quite clear that he didn't. So I suspect either that or a drive-through. If he's very lucky, he will not have neither of them, but that's unlikely. I'll be honest, that's unlikely. So we may see Eck just missing something. Funny, that something was fundamental. Here it is, Ramazzotti trying to come back from where he was. Some rear end damage for that McLaren. Ramazzotti, who started in 14th place. Now he's in 14th, but okay, yep. As suspected, speeding in the pit lane, stop and go penalty 30 seconds for Benjamin Eck in number 51, 20th place. Provisionally 20th place because of the various pit stops that have to be made. But oh, Smith! Oh, Smith is off! He loses job in last place. Kontke 2 in front. Oh, something happened there. Again, Smith's race is going downhill. Downhill is not enough. Oh, he just lost it on the chicane. Applied the brake and throttle. And that was basically a recipe for disaster. Smith now started from second row. He is now just outside the podium in silver class. What I thought it was an honestly easy win is now back to disaster for Smith. And now he's gapping 4 seconds from the podium, not even the first place. Ramazzotti also trying to go on the inside into turn 2. And he gets double takedown in, well, for a moment. And then definitely for Variante Villeneuve in front of Woodward. So Ulrich's race went even worse, drive-through for exceeding track limit. And some damage too, which I didn't pick up. Canavera stopping of 30 seconds for exceeding the speed in the pit lane. I wonder what happened to the 41, because I can't really see much. That's a stop and go. The 41 is, I think it's a DNF altogether. Yep. I don't think there is a continuation to Ulrich's race. Drive through, another stop and go penalty, and repairing. But something happened just now. The thing is that I can't see anything that's happened, so I can't really tell what happened, unfortunately. Corsa and Wegman. Ooh, Wegman made a mistake clearly, because now Corsa is in front of Wegman. I need to see it back. Oh, he went wide. That's why. He went wide, he went on the gravel, on the grass, and then Corsa just went past through without any particular issue. This means, because Eck had a stop and go penalty to go after, and also now a DNF, that Corsa may be on the podium. Because Garby is now exiting the pits. So you can see Corsa now going into the inside, which becomes outside very quickly. Bit of a contact. Oh, there is a contact. And the Bentley loses a position, loses 2 positions. And Garby is back in the podium with Beckman that gains back a place. There was clearly contact between the 2 cars. You can see from the helicam, that's a nice forest. It's like the contact between the McLaren and the Bentley, with the Bentley having the worst fate, losing both the position on Garby and Wegman. Keenan now into the pits. Ultimately, it doesn't really change a lot in the wet. The moment when you make the pit stop. And that BMW in front is not a blue flagged car. He just has to pit. But unfortunately, it is the worst possible position for this 35 BMW. He doesn't really have to let the other drivers pass by, but they will eventually. He's trying to defend, and he gets shunted off the track with Corso that gains back the place on Wegman. I'll be honest, although that wasn't a position to fight for, I think there will be a penalty applied to Wegman's name. But even so, defending when you still have to make a mandatory pit stop is honestly, for how much you want to be a hero there, it's just it's pretty dumb. As someone that does racing, that's a bit dumb. But plain and simple, don't really. Anything you are doing, it's just inefficient, not worthy, leads to more damage than literally anything else. And if something happens, you just aren't helping with anything. Obviously, Corso will not be on the same side as me, since he gained from this. But that's just my thought on the matter. Oh, Corso's line goes over the tarmac. I think he lost a second. And now Wegman is a bit closer. Stopping a penalty applied to May in 22nd place. Jordan May that goes, I think, to a halt, then a DNF, even for him. Yep, that is. So now back into the racetrack, and the Keenan is 1,000 miles behind. So Garby, can I pick Garby? Okay, no, I cannot, clearly. So Garby goes effectively in the third place as expected. Corso is now in fourth, with Bergman following behind in fifth place. Virtually they are still in 7th, 8th, 9th and 10th. Stop and go penalty for Tremlin! Leader in silver class. He gets a stop and go penalty for the second for speeding in the pit lane. So disaster for the leader, which also goes extremely wide on the first chicane. And this means that Jaberal is your newest leader in silver class. With Smith that at the very least gains back the podium. No, wait. No, it doesn't, since Novak is in front of Smith. So not even that. So yeah, the number 990s race really went not great. Tremlin goes to a halt, so I think it's another DNF for us. The 999 went wide somewhere. So, pit lane for Woodward 2. Just a couple of cars remain for the mandatory pit stop. Good chunk of cars that DNF'd, both because the championship is practically done, with very little to play with still. In fact, the grid is now with only 25 drivers compared to earlier on. Actually, just read wrongfully. So Nopek's situation at the moment is great. Doesn't have too much trouble in front nor in the rear. It is possibly going to end the race without too many issues. So this gives me a good shot out to go over everything. So championship standings especially, but also KD. Yellow flag is being shown to the car 737. So he goes on the curb, goes on the second curb, and he keeps going on the curb, brakes on the curb, goes sideways for a moment, keeps the car on track, but that's a huge chunk of time being lost. Ultimately not really. I think something else happened. Oh, that's a mistake for Smith. That loses another place. That was Keys going in 15th place. So Smith gets in 16th, losing the place also on Drobat in the meantime. So yeah, not a great situation for the effective pole leader in silver class, which now sits in the very middle part of the leaderboard. So whilst I'm going to go read some parts of the championship, in Pro Class, Terence Keenan ultimately won the championship with, I think, Garby will not have too much trouble being in second, since Eck is not in the race anymore, and Gallo is not in this race. So I'm not sure who the podium will be. Maybe no, Robinson is not here, so not too many names on front page. I will say Sanchez, maybe a name, but possibly Eck will remain in the podium position at the end of the day. That McLaren over there is stop and go for the triple free of Besana. That goes to the pits, so I suspect another DNF for this race. Whilst in silver class, as we have on screen the battle for 14th place with Ramazzotti leading the two. Thomas Kotke is your championship winner. Oh, that's the Ferrari numbers 971 having some troubles. Suspect breaking the curb led to the spin. To then having the car back in a straight line. So here we have Keys having to fight for 13th place with Ramazzotti and Smith. But as I was saying, Thomas Kotke is your championship winner in silver class. Whatever the result, as Brown is in second, and possibly will remain, with Smith at this point will also remain in third place, losing the chance to get into second. As also Brown goes into the pits. Speaking of which, these two are your championship winners, and their prize for Pro, it's a gloves and sock coupon for Pure Sim Gear products in simracinggloves.com, whilst in silver it's a Pro Gloves coupon with the very same site. So these are your championship winners for the season number 12. Possibly already looking at the season 13 for many drivers here, but this is actually a good shootout also for what there is next. So we've got the mixed Sundays with GT4 and GT2 racing on Sunday. We've got the 6 hour of Valencia for the Coach Dave Delta Endurance GT3 2024. There is the off-season events with the Monza Speed Rush on Tuesday the 7th, and Wednesday the 13th we'll have the usual off-season. Oh, that's a bit of a side by side between Smith and Ramazzotti. With Ramazzotti went wide on entry, losing the place on Smith. And into Variante Villeneuve, it is indeed Smith that gets back the place on Ramazzotti. That's 13th place overall, or 5th place in class. Brown has got a stop and go penalty for speeding in the pit lane. He was in 15th, so a very good situation for the car that actually started in last place, but this will be practically demolished in a couple of minutes when he will have to make the mandatory drive-through with Woodward and Bellman behind. Oh, that's a bit of a jump, but honestly that will not matter too much to Woodward since he will get the overtake done quite easily. It has to go on the inside, but his overtake is effectively only a power move. It's not really fundamental to... Oh, that's also a spin. That's also a spin for Brown. So from not great to definitely below expectation to absolute worst for Brown. Having also to stay behind the Besana that also have a stop and go penalty for exceeding the speed in the pit lane. Battling the lead overall remains practically the same, with also Nopek that in this very last lap made a 45.925 and fastest lap of the race so far. For 6.0 this time around. Gapping even more so Keenan in second place with 14 actually seconds behind Garby, and then Corso. Oh, Garby! Speaking of which, 49.902 for the McLaren driver, so additional point for Garby. With Corso behind in 4th, Wegman there in 5th, and there is a car going somewhere, not really sure where. Oh, that's Canabera. That's Canabera going completely straight. I want to see the reason. It was a battle with Parks, so he went into the outside and tried to just get back into the racetrack, but nothing really happened since he was trying to steer on a wet grass surface, which brought him completely outside. And the robot gained a place on Novak. I don't know why. So this was the reason. Oh, it just went wide on an exit. Then the overtake was being done by the robot. That's podium position for 7. This gains the position. Smith also went in 12th place as the replay went on. Obviously, the very lead of the silver class is, I won't say unreachable, but there are 18 seconds of difference, and he is at best gaining half a second per lap on the leader, so nothing really can happen at the moment for Smith to gain back the lead, but something may happen for maybe another position since Novak is struggling up ahead. The effective only battle on track at the moment is Veldman's one, which starting in 32nd place after the start from the pit. And also trying... Oh, Jaural made a mistake somewhere, since now Kotke is very, very close to him. I think the mistake is the car in front. That's a lapped car, but I just think that it was the worst moment to reach it. Kissing McLaren behind. Trying to think about something that has to be made. Flames sparking from the exhaust of the 720S GT3 Evo package that made the debut last year in the British GT Championship. For now, the McLaren remains behind that Aston Martin, which I can't be sure if it is an effective obstacle or anything else. But this is the battle in the very lead in class. Obviously, ending with another win will be fundamental for Kotke at the moment has a high score of 3 wins? 1, 2? No. It has 2. He has 2 wins on his name and 2 podiums. So having a third one would just put the World Championship in bold and underline. So this battle here remains. So Brown went into the pits. He was the car in front. Not really sure why he went into the pits. Possibly he understood that the race is practically over for him. Obviously the top 3 haven't been forgotten, just that they are on a pace on their own. Nopek made a 7.7 second gap on Keenan, which at this point I think is just keeping the car on track. Not really fancy to push the V10 on the limit. Getting closer is the number 2 to 1 behind, the name of American Garvey, but that car is 12 seconds behind, so for the moment it really isn't an issue of any kind. Javdal made his personal best with a 47.2 compared to Kotke's 7.8. Although Kotke, just in this corner, made a good progress, gaining back the whole time he lost earlier on. So maybe it was just a way to get some clean air in front. As Ramazzotti made the pass for 13th place in front of Kiss. That's overall, not in class. Ramazzotti remains in 6th in silver, with Kiss remaining in 8th in Pro, but overall it's still a position changing. Final 10 minutes of the championship before we have to deliver the final credits. Top 3 at this point is just lapping in the same 46.2 constantly. Nothing is really changing in that regard. Then we have Corso, Wegman and KD lapping in Sanchez too, lapping steadily into the no wait. Okay, I misread. We have Corso, Wegman lapping steadily on the 46.6. Then we have KD, Sanchez, and then Jabudal, and then Kotke and Robert, and practically everyone. Okay, maybe I have to stay with just Kotke lapping into the 47.5 or 47 low, depending on the lap. Then just a tiny bit below we have Smith actually being an outliner, because Smith gained back on Novak 47. Okay, I'm trying to well, I'm not trying to think, I think that's the sentence, that Smith's pace was heavily demolished by a clear pressure issue of some kind, because now the 990 is trying to make an overtake on Novak for 11th place. The podium is 4 seconds ahead, and the pace was, prior to joining this fight, a net gain of an entire second per lap on Drobat and Novak. Moreover, on Novak rather than Drobat, which had a gain of around the 7-8%, kind of. Very difficult at the moment, but at least Novak should be target doable for the green Aston Martin. It was yet again starting in the very top row of the field in 4th place. Now he's just sitting in 12th. Which then it can become, and I think it will become, 11th place overall, which translates to 4th place in class. Overtaking done on the inside without too much trouble. Next target, the number 7 Mercedes-Benz in 10th place of Drobat, 4.5 seconds ahead. He kinda need a bit of a miracle to get there, but the podium is somehow reachable for Smith after a awful first stint. But again, I think that was to be Gilawol on the pressures, since the pace went from day to night to day once again after the change of tires happened. Here it is, the very battle for the overall win in silver class. There could be something here for Kotke. At the end of the lap we can have a time of 47.8 for Javural, 47.2 for Kotke, and I think there is a good moment to try to go for an overtake for Kotke, but it doesn't happen on the outside. He's thinking about something that will not happen at the moment. You can see him trying to go left, right, be thinking about something, but realistically not making anything. Ooh, some yellow flags being shown. It's actually a 3-8 of Longden, losing the position of Bella for some reasons, but we will stay here because I'm sure as hell that as soon as he hit a replay button, something will happen. Cockpit view for our driver in the 802 McLaren. Started in 17th place and gaining 8 different places this race. Certainly a good achievement, but nothing compared to Drobat and Velman, both gaining 17 places from the start of the race. Speaking of which, Vedem is off! It's off into the barrier, I think, too. So now Drobat will effectively gain the most places being gained. Oh, he went on the curb. He didn't hit the barrier. He made off of it. But he lost the place on Woodward, now in 15th place. So yeah, literally the best moment ever to say his name. Ooh, you can see that Jabural just braked a tiny bit earlier. He wasn't inside, so he had to brake a bit earlier, otherwise he would have went straight. But the 531 remains still on the lead. Some curb, which impacts a bit the McLaren space. For now, the The chasing remains on the same placement. 48.1, 48.2. So the pace is the same, but one clearly has a bit more. That one is your championship winner, so this is a hard fight for Jawlal. Ooh, that was slightly worse entry and exit for Jawlal, which gives a chance, briefly, a chance to Kotke to make it into 8th place overall. It's quite clear that the two possible places to make a pass are turn 1 and Rivazza, which is the last couple of turns. Maybe now is the moment. Again on the outside. Breaking more or less here. Maybe there was some more space that could have been used, but clearly he wanted to go safe. Well, safer. It's still not the last lap. Last lap will begin in 2 laps. Last lap it was a 48.7, 48.6. It's obvious that Kotke has more pace, but Jawlal is simply in front and he can defend. That's for the winning class. Jawlal started in 15th place, gained 7 places, with Kotke started in 17th and gained 8 places. The pit stop was roughly the same. So all in all it was simple, poor pace that brought this fight. As we start the final 2 laps of this championship, which was honestly a bit calmer compared to the usual, which is actually great. Obviously, every season I hope there is much to say and much to discuss, and this season was a bit calmer in that regard. It was a bit less physical altogether than the usual. There were less big ones. There were some big ones, but less in comparison to the usual. It was a nice championship, honestly. White flag for Nopek in first place, so we will stick with him for the time being. For the last time in the season. Into turn 2, 3 and 4. Alla Tamburello. Then we go into Villeneuve. 5 and 6. Seven, Tosa. Then we have 8. We have turn 8, which is, I don't know why I say that, an H in the middle. Turn 8, which is this one. It doesn't really have a name. Then we have Piratella. Turn 9. Left hander. Then 10. Downhill. For Acque Minerali 1 e 2. On the curve. Please don't make a spin now. Oh, it was close. Then variante alta 14 and 15. Then again downhill once more to go into 16, 17 and 18 alla Rivazza to they go on the finish line, which actually has 219 in the middle. But here we have the round 7 winner in the Pure SimGrid GT3 Championship. This is Thomas Nopek for Dynamite Motorsport. Then we have the championship winner. Terence Keenan goes on to win the championship in his Lamborghini V10. Then Garby completes your podium in the race. Number 21 and fastest lap holder, Melker Garby. Then behind it is Alessandro Corso that goes on in the 114 Bentley. This brick aerodynamically incapable to exist, but it doesn't know it, so it completes the race faster. Unfortunately, because M Sports just destroyed the program. Then Wegman in 5th. Then Caddy will complete the race in 6th place. Then we have 7th place with Sanchez. Then we have your winner in silver class. And then we have your winner in the championship silver class with Timothy Jabodal winning the race and Thomas Katke winning the championship. Then completing the podium is Drobat in the number 7 Mercedes and best gainer of the race, getting 17th places. Smith completes the race just 11th, unfortunately. Ramazzotti goes on in 12th with Novak behind. Then Kies completes the race in 14th. Woodward is in 15th. Then it's going to be Veldman in the number 29 Audi, last in the lead lap. Then for the full standings, I have to wait because I just don't have them in front since some drivers quit the lobby earlier. Don't know what is missing. But Keenan is your effective championship winner and Kotke the same, which is now inside a Ferrari. 3 for 3. But this was the season number 13 of the 7th round championship brought to you by Pure SimGrid. It was a nice championship, all considered, and usually I hope everyone had a good time through it. I will obviously see you in the next season, but ultimately this is the end in the 7th round. I will have you all in... Oh, here it is, the standings. So what was I missing? So it was Svedla, then Longden, then Jones, then Parks, then Vergoe, then Brown, Canabera, Besana, Tremlin, May, Ulrich, Eck, Lenches, Cassitrash, Gibbons, and Schneider in 32nd place. This is the complete standing of the race. But as the championship winner goes on and on, I will see you all on Saturday for the... Where is it? I will see you all on Saturday for the endurance round in Valencia. I will not be the only one, it will be also John Wright alongside me. Just for the last 3 hours, I will be on for the first 3 hours. But anyway, it was a nice championship. I hope you all had fun. Obviously, stay tuned for the next season, the number 14 actually, because this was the 12th season. And also for the rookies, the same exact situation. But altogether, be sure to check it out for the one-offs, for the endurance, and for the next season. But from me, Cristian Romano, it was all. Hope you had a good evening, and wherever you are in the world, this time it's for real. Good night, and see you on Saturday.